you walk through the valley of the shadow of hell, you will realize that there is something ahead. Something that lurks behind the dark veil. A veil that is beyond our own comprehension. Beyond the void.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to another holiday edition of
Beyond the Void Horror Podcast.
Woo! So we're going to go ahead and do our two movies today for our Flesh and Potatoes segment. Full disclosure, by the way, we were given screeners for these movies. One of them I asked for, actually, from Secret Santa, who Wild Eye Releasing did put out, and they were graciously enough able to give us one. So, and also we were hit up by one of the representatives, I believe it was for Lionsgate Films, that wanted us to review a copy of Once Upon a Time at Christmas. Also, by the way, guys, we did our grave plots this past Monday. If you haven't listened to that, we did a awesome grave plots about the Yuletide Strangler, which is a pretty cool holiday movie that we made up, and I think you should check it out if you haven't already. Plus, we did our news and a really kick-ass horror shot that actually tasted pretty freaking good, so you should check that out. But we're going to go ahead and just jump right the fuck in to our Flesh and Potatoes segment of
Holiday Mayhem.
We're going to do that right
Now!
All right, guys, so we're going to kick it off for our Flesh and Potatoes segment right now, and we're going to start it off with our first holiday horror movie, or holiday mayhem movie, which is Secret Santa, which is actually was put out in 2015. Pretty much, as we've mentioned in the other podcast episode, it didn't come out until pretty much 2016 for the general public. It pretty much made these festival circuit rounds at different events. I think there was like Blood in the Snow festival that they did and a few others. The story is Secret Santa tells the story of a group of eccentric college kids struggling to get through the hectic exam period. A liquor-filled party is planned, adding a Secret Santa exchange for fun. Little do our characters know, a killer is in town and has a special present for all the good and bad girls and boys. That was actually written by the director and writer, who is Mikey McMurrin. And he actually has done shorts like Demon Bitch and Beneath, as well as a few other things that he's done. He also does editing and pretty much everything, as most of us do when we start creating stuff in the beginning because we can't afford to pay for like 16 different fucking people on a movie.
Exactly.
This movie was made on a $6,000 budget, by the way.
Which is crazy.
Which is pretty good for what they came up with. Some of the cast is Annette Wozniak, who plays Nicole, the webcam hero, I guess you could call her.
Yeah.
She was also in the movie Bite, which was about that group of girls that go to some like secret location in a cave, and then she gets bit. And I never saw it, but it looks kind of cool, actually. Mm-hmm. Also, it stars Jeff Almond, who plays Dwayne, a.k.a. the silly funny guy, slacker guy sort of thing. He was also in the Demon Bitch short. He also is in a new movie coming out called Statutory Violence 2, which has a lot of alarms raised.
Yeah.
Like, I'm wondering, like, what that's all about. I didn't
Yeah.
even know there was a first one. Yeah. Also, it stars Keegan Chambers, who is Carissa. She was in Human Cattle short, Art of Obsession, and a TV series show called ELEL, I assume. It also stars Brent Baird, who is Brian, the cheating boyfriend. He was in a movie, or he was in Cancer, which is spelled Canswer. So, can answer? I don't know. Exorcism of the Dead, and Bloody Romeo. Also stars Nicole Kowales, who plays Olivia, or Liv. She was also in Human Cattle Short. Tony Nash is in this movie. He plays Professor Ramsey. He was in the Damien TV show for one episode, a movie called Fake News, and Transference Escape the Dark. But yeah, so like I said, I mean, this is a low-budget film. What did you think of this movie when you first saw it? This is both our first times, by the way.
I wasn't into it at all at first. It grew on me as it progressed.
Okay.
Like probably around the midway point through the movie. Like I don't know. I mean, it literally hits every single fucking stereotype for a college kid possible that you could fucking hit. Like,
right.
There's the girl that's paying for college to buy webcamming. There's the guy that snorts Adderall. There's the fucking cheating boyfriend. You know, there
was a lot of college jokes in there too. So
yeah.
it kind of made me wonder if it was literally written in college or made in college.
I feel like it. You
Go
know,
ahead.
and then it looks like my biggest struggle is that it looks like it's filmed in the fucking 90s. Like everything looks so old.
Right. Well, it's supposed to be a retro film.
Right, which I didn't know going into it, so I wasn't familiar with that at all. I'm like, why does this look so fucking old? And it bothered me. I was like, this is supposed to be a current movie, but it looks like it's from the late 80s, like early 90s. Everything looks old.
Well, it's kind of hip nowadays, you know, to do the retro thing a little bit.
I guess, but I don't know. I wasn't sold on it at first, and it took me a while to become interested, and then I started being like, I can't take this seriously. And then it was a little more fun and silly, and I don't know, I saw the big plot twist coming in the first 20 minutes of the movie, so
yeah, well,
I figured it out really quickly, so I was just kind of disappointed.
I
but
definitely did not see that coming.
yeah, I don't know, I think I just pick up on little things like that and always assume the worst from them, so I don't know. Like at the end, like I ended up not hating it as much as I did in the beginning,
Right.
but I mean, it's still, I don't know. I just thought that it was a cool concept, just executed badly.
Okay. Well, I mean, I personally, the first thing, just first off, the cover for this movie is kick-ass.
The cover's awesome. Yeah,
it's fucking amazing. Like I was like, wow.
It's super retro.
Yeah, I tried to look a little bit for the artwork, who did the artwork, but I couldn't really find it. So I don't know who it is, but they did an amazing job on the artwork alone. Like it's just so colorful and like interesting, and it makes you want to see like what the fuck.
Looks like a Cavity Colors shirt.
Right. So I love that. That was insanely good. This movie in particular for me, it felt like it was like a better done homemade or college film.
Yeah.
In my opinion. It's pretty straight to the point, you know, killer kills people and silly gruesome home kills by Secret Santa gifting. Basically, he gifts them the implement of death that they'll be killed with.
Yeah, which I thought was cool.
That is kind of interesting. Also, it has some, you know, decent gore and kills for a low-budget flick as it was, you know, for $6,000. It's definitely in the vein of some self-aware, tongue-in-cheek humor. Like, it's self-aware of it, you know, how ridiculous it is. Some of the jokes really didn't land for me, but, you know, there was some genuine laughs on my part, whether it's inadvertent or not.
The humor was very forced.
Yeah, it was a little forced.
Very forced.
It's kind of schlocky, you know, in the sense of like Thanksgiving in a way.
Yeah.
Done in sort of like that retro vibe that a lot of people like to get in. So you see the like grainy effect on the screen, you know, to kind of like dirty up the film and give you kind of that old retro pastiche feel that you would get, you know, with those movies that you would have watched back in the day. Though I didn't really, like you said, it felt like it was in the 90s. I honestly felt like it was current, and I didn't associate with it. I just felt like it just had film grain over it.
Yeah. Well, it felt old.
Okay.
Like it didn't feel like a 2000s like film.
Really?
You know what I mean?
I
Like,
thought it did.
Felt older.
Didn't feel that
But
old
it
to
could
me.
have just been by whatever, like how their houses were fucking decorated, or like how the whatever filter they put over the film. When they did it, or how they edited it. I don't know. It felt old.
Some of the
it
things
didn't feel current. It didn't feel new. It felt.
I didn't get
dated.
that. I felt like it felt new with like trying to make it look old.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't really associate some of the clothing or anything with it.
Yeah.
Like it was kind of all over the place. Like it felt kind of current.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, I like some of the music in it, some of the synth like dark vibe. Not the intro song necessarily, although it was okay. It had some odd choices of edits though too, like they went too long. Like the timing was all off. But you know, what do I know? Maybe it was intentional to try to give it that old, like we fuck shit up kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like they kind of like some movies do that for the retro thing because those are part of the retro feel, is that those mistakes were always in there. And that's the schlocky 80s, 90s thing, is to enjoy that. I don't know. The timing on it just felt really weird to me. But I mean, if you like low budget silliness with some gore, it's probably perfect for you, but it's not a blockbuster film by any means. It's probably more in line with like Thanksgiving, maybe not as the humorous as that.
Yeah.
It's a little more nicer, even though it has some kind of like adult tropes and themes to it. It's more of a, hey guys, let's order some pizza and beer and like fucking sit around and laugh.
It's a silly kind of like holiday slasher-esque B movie.
Right. And it's a comedy. So I mean, you know, it's up to the people who make it or listen to it or enjoy it.
Right.
If it's funny to you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought some of it was funny. There was stuff that I was laughing at that just kind of, I think it's when it was like a little more improv that I actually enjoyed it, because I like that off the cuff kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
I appreciated it more when I realized that it was only a $6,000 budget.
yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying.
A really good job for that kind of money.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
I think so too. Like, I think they did a pretty damn good job for
the effects were really good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Like, man, how much did you cheat your fucking special effects person?
No, I don't think they did. They
Damn.
they just used it well.
Yeah, they did a good job.
Plus, you know, and there's a lot of, you know, interesting stuff on this. Like, I've listened to the director, and he was like, you know, some of his you know, hey, to be inspired by a movie, it doesn't cost like as much. It doesn't cost $300,000 to make a movie these days, guys. Like, you could just go out with a DLR, whatever, go out and make a fucking movie. I definitely didn't think it was a bad movie. It's not a, like, you know, oh my God, I got to rush out and get this movie.
It's not going to win any awards anytime soon.
It
but
maybe.
Like,
I don't know.
well, you know, but it's not like fucking terrible.
No, it's inspiring because it makes you kind of want to, like, you know, go out and make one yourself in a way, you know, like it inspired me. It makes me, when I watch these kind of movies, I think, man, I could go out and do that. You know what I mean? Like, maybe, but it's like so many different working pieces. It's not like you're going to get SAG award people to act in your movie because it costs way too fucking much money.
Exactly.
There is some interesting trivia about this, though. The movie is based off the short with the same name, which they used as sort of a pitch reel, like a 3 or 4 minute thing that they did to try to get an idea out there. And then they put up a Kickstarter, not a Kickstarter, but a crowdfunding source to try to get the money together to do this. And they were able to get some money for it, and it kind of got into festivals, and it did it. But I'm not 100% sure, but I believe Mikey McMurran is actually in the film, even though he's not credited, because he looks a lot like one of the carolers in the movie. I don't know if you noticed that, but you won't get into details about that. I'm just saying.
Oh, no.
I don't know. I wouldn't know because he didn't get credited. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I looked at like videos and pictures of him and was like, God, he looks like the guy with the top hat. Mikey McMurran said that the idea came from working in retail around the holidays, and he was just like fucking hating the season because of it.
Perfect.
Yeah. Like he just was done with the holidays because of that. And so he started writing this script. A lot of the people that he worked with on shorts and stuff, and that he went to college with, and people that he knew doing this stuff, he asked to be a part of it and said, hey, well, I'll write you into the story and let's do this. And they agreed, and then they got the crowdfunding money, and they just kicked it off. They actually shot it in about 15 days. Nice. Total, like overall, like 15 days, which is not bad. And they did it over weekends, too, so it wasn't like
15 consecutive days.
15 consecutive days, so they had to keep coming back to it because that's when they could do it. So
neat.
I admire that. Actor Brent Baird actually,
Brian, right? Cheating boyfriend.
Yeah, the Brian guy, the cheating boyfriend. He actually took a real bong hit in that scene where Carissa comes in when he's at his house. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing here?"
Oh yeah.
He actually said that was his first day of shooting. And he was like, you could call it method acting if you want. He's like, but I thought to myself.
Or that I was nervous.
Yeah. He was like, you know, but I thought to myself, yeah, this is cool. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he didn't take a bong hit and he was just making a joke. But it seemed like
that's funny.
He actually took a real bong hit.
He probably did.
Yeah. Maybe he was just talking about the fact that he was actually taking a bong hit on the movie.
Right.
But it seemed like he was saying that
I'm sure he actually did it.
Yeah, because he
It's
said
Canada.
method acting.
Who cares?
Said if you're method acting, I mean, that means
Yeah.
you really get into the role.
Exactly.
Mikey is actually working on another project right now called The Final Ride, which is, I'm assuming, an anthology. And one of the stories in the movie that he's going to be doing is about a 80s exercise guy that's kind of that's like a ghost.
Oh my God! Stop it.
So he's like wearing the 80s outfits and stuff, but he's also kind of like a wrestler type guy.
Oh my God.
I watched the trailer,
I'm so
the
into
campaign
it.
trailer that they're trying to raise money for this for, and he's like, you can work out. Like, he's almost like fucking Snap into a Slim Jim fucking guy trying to tell people to work out and
Holy
stuff.
shit.
So I thought it was kind of funny.
You're like the dude from Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah, that's
No
just...
one wants to get drop kicked in the face, and I'm wearing these
Right.
bad boys, or whatever the fuck he says.
But the guy's like a ghost, and he's like haunting people and telling
I love
them
it.
to exercise.
That is excellent.
Yeah, I think that's funny. I don't know. So
cool.
essentially, he's putting together several shorts in this one movie.
Stupid fucking idea, but it's so fucking stupid.
It's
brilliant.
funny, yeah. I don't know. That's pretty much all the trivia I have on that. For those of you that do not want anything spoiled for this movie,
Bye.
you probably shouldn't listen past here and maybe check in with when we start the next movie. We won't spoil these movies. We'll give you a heads up on everything. But if you don't want these things spoiled, you definitely do not want to listen past this, because we like to kind of like digest some of the movie and what we liked or didn't like about the movie. And we talk about that during our favorite scenes. So if you don't mind that, stick around or come back after you watch the movie. So we won't mind. There was, do you have any favorite scenes or scenes that you want to talk about that maybe bothered you or you liked?
I wouldn't say anything really bothered me necessarily. Like, none of the scenes really were.
Well, you seemed like you didn't like it at first. So, like,
Bothersome.
what was it that bothers you
Just
the
the
most?
story was just stupid.
Okay.
That was the biggest thing to me. I was like, they're literally hitting every single fucking college stereotype possible. Like, come the fuck on.
I couldn't relate to it because I didn't really do the whole real college thing. You know what I mean? Like, I did community college.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've seen movies though that are based in college, right? Like college comedies.
Sure,
Or
but
like
there was
whatever, but
jokes, literal jokes in it that I didn't really understand that only a college kid would understand.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was kind of like, it's almost like they were writing it for their friends
It's like
that were in
niche marketing.
college. Yeah.
I feel that, but I don't know. Like, my biggest annoyance about it was like I thought the idea behind the movie was cool, just executed poorly. As far as like it got wishy washy here and there. Like it started off kind of strong in this idea, and then went way the fuck over this way.
Okay.
And then they borrowed super heavily from like The Strangers
Okay.
in the end, and I'm just like, god damn, like come on, like stick to it, you know what I mean? Like, and they tried to do too many different diversion tactics to make you,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know,
Well,
it got a little too fucking squirrely.
I look at it as this, like, at least they tried.
Oh, for sure.
With different techniques and stuff. And that's his first feature
I don't
film.
fucking fault them for it. Like, don't get me wrong.
No, I
It just-
know.
It just didn't work for me.
Some movies don't even attempt to do that, though.
Right.
Is what I'm saying.
It just didn't. Their little diversion tactics and them trying to make the story a little bit more difficult to to follow completely
Unwrap.
or to unwrap. Yeah, no, pun completely intended.
Yeah, right.
Just didn't work. It fell flat for me. So like I said, I knew what was going to happen at the end. I knew the plot twist 20 minutes into the movie.
Really? Well,
Like,
don't jump to that
I'm not
yet.
going to jump to that yet, but I knew. Like, as soon as I like met specific
characters,
people, like
yeah.
these characters, like I absolutely fucking saw it coming. And I mean, I'm pretty good at that for the most part, so that's something that like I'm,
Oh, we got to go back
to what?
to kind of explain what the story's about.
So basically, the entire idea behind this movie is that they're getting through exams, and it's college, it's final exams week. Everybody's kind of stressed, and you've got your girl that's worried about paying for college. You've got the boyfriend that's cheating on said girl paying for college with her best friend that she lives with, and then you've got the
Slacker guy who doesn't care
the
about
slacker
college.
that snorts Adderall, that doesn't
Yeah.
fucking study, and he does the cram session 48 hours before, and he gets so fucking blitzed out of his mind on Adderall and caffeine that he's just like hallucinating shit. And then you have your stereotypical college professor fucking his intern,
Right.
or whatever the fuck she is, teacher's aide.
I mean,
TA.
I'm sure that happens a lot more than we realize. but
all the time.
yeah.
All the time. So, but I mean, that's why I'm saying it was stereotypical, because I'm like, everyone figures that happens and they just make it happen. But So these are like your general basic characters, right? So initially you meet drunk girl, Carissa, and Jerry, who we see for all of 10 minutes in the first, or 5 minutes in the beginning
Jerry?
of the movie.
Which
That's
one's
her
Jerry?
name. The girl who gets her eyes
Oh,
gouged
okay,
out.
yeah.
So she's taking her home because obviously she got kicked out of the
Don't
club. 'cause
spoil
she's
it,
drunk.
but just kind of like, you know what I mean?
But yeah, but this is your first like initial interaction into the story, right?
Right.
Like, so then that's when you know that there's like some crazy killer.
But you don't know who it is.
Also, which was an issue for me because they backtracked this really weird. Like how your initial interaction with him and then it's like, that's it.
Right.
And then it gets confusing.
Yeah.
So that was my biggest problem because I'm like, this is fucking dumb. Like, why'd they do this part? Like, anyways, the whole general concept is that Liv, which is like the chick that's fucking the professor,
Right.
they want to have this party to like relax or whatever after exams, which is the lamest goddamn fucking
And do their
party.
Secret Santa.
Yeah, the lamest fucking party I've ever seen in my life,
Yeah.
by the way. But and they do a Secret Santa gift exchange because it's like all the 3 of these girls or 4 of these girls or whatever live together, and then there's like the boyfriend and then the friend and whatever, right? So it's this group of friends, and so they do the Secret Santa gift exchange. Well, ideally, what ends up happening is
They pick them off one by one.
they
We don't
pick-
need to
they
we
pick
don't
them
need
off
to get
one
into
by
it.
one with whatever gift that you get.
Right.
So whatever gift you get is how you die,
Yeah.
essentially. But that's when they catch on to it is silly, but
And it takes like a few twists and turns a little bit.
yeah, but that's pretty much the general idea. Is Secret Santa gifts you what you're going to die by,
Right.
pretty much, and then you have to figure out how they get their gifts hijacked and blah blah blah.
Okay. Do you have any favorite scenes that you did like that you appreciated in this one?
Yeah, it's more towards the middle though. So
Okay,
if you
that's
have
fine,
one
whatever.
Towards
Go
the
ahead.
beginning, I would go first.
Oh, I can do that if you want.
Yeah.
One of the things I thought, like I noticed one of the shots that I liked, there's the oven shot when she pulls out her food for the party. She like had the cameras inside the oven.
Oh.
And then the oven drops down and she pulls out her food from underneath. I know it's just like a little thing, but I just like.
You just have like a little camera
I
trick.
thought that was one of the best shots in the freaking movie.
Oh, that's
like,
cute. Yeah, I thought you were talking about like a specific scene, but I kind of like how you were talking about that.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
no.
Just the camera work. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the camera work there. I thought that was a kind of
Smart.
a cool idea.
Yeah.
It was definitely an idea that if I would have seen more of that in the movie, it would have helped flow it a
It's
little
more
bit
of a
better.
sophisticated view.
Right.
So I think, yeah, if they would have done a little bit more like smart things like that, it would have elevated the movie a little more. But cute.
The other ones that I have are pretty much when the party starts because it took me a while to really kind of like soak this in.
Yeah.
You know, you see, the carolers, she pukes on her at the party or after the party when she gets kicked out of the bar in the beginning and then the girl dies and then...
Yeah, that scene's not even that dynamic though, so that's why it's like
It was kind of the camaraderie
that
is really
happens
what you were
within the
trying to
first,
get
like,
there.
5 to 10 minutes, but it's still stupid.
Right.
So you're like,
But it was funny when she puked on her.
that was funny.
Yeah.
Oh, you saw
I
that
was like,
coming, but you're like,
Jesus.
oh, what a bitch. I would have fucking left her on the floor. Like, I would have carried her inside. I would have left her outside.
Well, they like kill
You
her.
freeze, bitch.
Well, they like kill her with the fucking drill in her eye.
Yeah, she opens her fucking her Secret Santa present, and it's a power drill.
And she's like, what the fuck?
So, okay.
Yeah.
And then it's just he puts a pillow over her face
And drills
and
into
then
her head.
drills into her head, and like her eye pops out, and I'm like, that's dumb.
It looked like a real eye.
It did. It looked cool.
I think they might have used a sheep eye or something.
Like yeah, it looks like a sheep eye.
Yeah.
In my experience recently with sheep eyes, it
Yeah,
looks like
really.
a sheep eye.
Didn't it though? A little bit, yeah.
Totally. I poked a lot of them yesterday. So
Well, they're usually like oval, like
Yeah.
right, like the
round.
color or whatever.
yeah, they're completely round, and then like the actual like where the color, iris or whatever the color of their
Yeah.
eye is, it's more of like an almond shape.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looked more human-esque than sheep. I don't know if maybe it wasn't sheep, but I think
Looked real.
cow eyes are a little bit more realistic to human.
Yeah, that's what they usually make you do in
But the
school.
cow eyes are too big.
Yeah, they're pretty
They're
big.
goddamn
yeah.
gigantic.
Yeah.
So I would say probably a lamb or a sheep.
Something. Well, they
Or
were
goat could
if
be
they
a
were
goat,
in
too.
college, they probably had access to the shit like that.
Easily. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. That scene was just like, meh.
Yeah.
It would have been cooler if they didn't put the pillow over her face. But I can see
It helped, I'm sure.
it did
With
with
the
like
budget.
with the budget, and then with their scope of how far they could really take their effects work and stuff
Right.
too.
Yeah, how do you drill into
I
a head
feel
without
like
making a whole
they
mold?
didn't have the means to do it, so that's why they went the direction that they did. But
Right.
I also feel like if that's the case, you should have switched up the death. But that's just me.
Right.
So it fell flat. But
There was a part when they invite the professor over, Ramsey.
yeah,
and
the hot Jon Snow looking fucking
which,
professor.
Yeah, which was like totally awkward. Like it was It was awkward because the whole scene was way too long.
It was too long. It was so fucking aggravating.
And not only that, it was awkward because of how the characters were acting, and it just was really uncomfortable. So in a way, like, he executed that.
They did it well.
They did it really well.
It worked.
Yeah, because like it really showed that it was very uncomfortable. But there was this one part when they finally give in because she was like, guys, can you please just help me out and make him feel comfortable? Like, I really like him and he's a nice guy and da-da-da-da-da. And then he's like, hey, where'd you get that jacket, Ramsey or Professor Preston?
Preston.
And he's like, oh, it's funny you should ask that. I got this from my grandfather who blah, blah, blah. And he was like, puts his hand on his back and he's like,
oh, don't touch it.
Don't touch it, though. I cracked up when I heard that. That shit made me laugh.
Yeah, I was laughing.
And I'm sure that was actually like, it could have been improv.
I feel like it was.
Because it felt real.
It felt real.
It felt
yeah.
organic.
It did. It absolutely did. So I felt like that was a lot of improv.
What about you? Was any other
really
scene?
Funny. Let's see. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So this is when it turned around for me.
Okay.
And it was like for all the dumbest fucking reasons ever is why it turned around for me. Like this is when I started to just let loose and just be like, this obviously is fucking dumb. Like they're not trying to be serious, but dude. So the fucking drunk chick, Carissa or whatever, her gift is a fucking dirty ass hairdryer.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's useful.
It's disgusting.
Yeah,
She's like, well, I guess at least I can use my present.
Yeah, each of these presents, by the way, guys, if you have or haven't seen this, you know that it's like they're old and used.
They're weird, yeah. And they're old, used, and just weird, random shit. So she randomly decides during this party she's gonna go take a bath.
Oh yeah,
right?
Well, no, it's because she tries to screw Dwayne.
Oh yeah,
and he can't get it up
she
because
tries
he
to
doesn't.
fuck Dwayne, but he's all like Adderall fueled and like can't get a boner, or
right?
whatever. She's trying to make Brian jealous. That's right.
Right.
So again.
Oh, okay.
stupid.
Now I know what you're talking about.
So do you have anything prior to that before I?
It doesn't matter. Okay. Go ahead.
So she. After she can't fuck this dude, right? Because he can't get a hard on. So she decides, it's still fucking weird. They're having a party and she's gonna go take a fucking bath, right? Stupid. So she goes and she gets in the tub, and all of a sudden, like, you know, they just show like feet, and the door open and feet come in, right? And you can tell that it's obviously like this Secret Santa or whatever, like the killer. And she's like, fuck off, Dwayne. Like, it's not going to happen or whatever. And then she, like, looks at the dude. Well, he plugs in the fucking hairdryer.
Yeah, you see him plug it in.
He plugs it in. And it's this stupid, dinky-ass, like, hotel hairdryer, by the way. It's a piece of shit. And then she just, like, she's still talking, like, get out, you know, or whatever. And then she looks over, and it's this guy in the ski mask with this stupid dinky hairdryer in his hand, and she's like, oh my god, like, who are you? And then he fucking chucks the hairdryer at her
in the tub.
He turns it on and chucks the hairdryer at her while she's in the tub, and it fucking is too short and it misses.
It falls out of the fucking socket and on the
floor.
floor.
It pulls out of the socket and hits the floor in front of the toilet. That's like a solid like foot and a half away from the tub. Yeah. And there's this glorious moment where they're just staring at each other.
Yeah.
And she's just like, what? Like, and it was awesome. Like,
that was a good funny part.
It was so well timed. I don't know, like if
the moment of them looking at each other is really
great.
funny. Yeah,
it was great, and it felt super organic too. Like, it was very improv to me. Like, I don't know if maybe wasn't the intention, but
the way I pictured that scene in my head immediately was like they were like, we're gonna shock her, right? And then they were like, fuck, how do we do that in this house?
Yeah,
right. And then they were like, well, maybe we could just make a joke about it.
It was so funny.
Do you know what I mean? It's like one of those things
out.
that just like happens on the spot because you're like,
yeah,
how do we make this happen?
It was funny.
And then he just beats her head with it.
I didn't even
and her
care.
head looks kind of fucked up,
it looked
too.
good. They did a good job, but it was just, oh my fucking God, it was so funny. Like, just that scene, I was crying.
One scene that just
I was laughing so fucking hard.
That made me feel a little more uncomfortable, a little bit. Not uncomfortable, but like, being that me and you actually happen to know a lot of people in the webcam modeling industry, because Arizona, by the way, guys, is apparently one of the #1 places to do webcamming. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Like,
I mean, I did it for a little while.
Did you? Okay, see, like everybody's fucking done this shit. But yeah, so like, she tells her boyfriend that she does this because she's like hiding it from Brian.
I was the worst one ever, but I did it.
Yeah, I know. And there's some kind of funny stuff in it, but it kind of runs a little too long, I think, in some of the scenes.
It's a running gag throughout the entire movie
Right.
that just doesn't play out.
Right. But she does web modeling for a living to pay off her school bills and her tuition and stuff like that. And she tells him and she confesses that she really likes it and everything. And then he doesn't know what to do with it because he's just like, I don't know if I can have a girlfriend that does this, right? Which is a pretty normal thing.
Understandable.
Pretty understandable to, but they go a little bit further, and knowing what I do and other people I know, it's kind of like they wouldn't tolerate that kind of nonsense. Like webcam models, you know what I mean?
Right.
They're typically like they may hide it, but they are pretty proud of what they do.
Yeah.
So she's
no
like,
fucking shame in it.
he's like, well, I guess she's like, you know what? I thought about it, and I don't know. You know, I just want to take you any way that I can have you. Like, I'll settle. Like,
Yeah.
that's kind of how he says it. And then she's just like, oh, thank you.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. That did bother me.
It did. I know it's stupid to point out,
No.
and it really doesn't matter. And I know they weren't trying to make a statement, but
Well-
for me personally, it was just like, oh,
That and the fact of when they talk about like how the money that she's making like kind of played into how they just don't really understand that kind of world.
maybe, yeah.
Because she's like, oh, I make up to $500 a week. And I'm like, bitch, you suck. If that's all you're fucking making in a week,
Yeah.
like, that sucks. Like, I know girls that make fucking tons of money and they work for 4 hours in a fucking week.
Yeah.
And they make like $1,500.
Right.
Like, what are you doing? You
Well-
know, like, but then she's fucking herself with salad mixing. So I don't know what the fuck she's doing. It was the
Well, and
weirdest
then
shit
there was
ever.
that scene where
with
she
those
was
terrible wigs.
She was doing the
I was like, girl.
she was doing the scene with a cucumber, and then they cut up the cucumber and put it in a smoothie, and the girl drinks it.
I fucking cried. I was laughing so hard.
That was pretty fucking
That
funny.
was great.
That was a good tension that you have, like, oh, please don't drink it.
Yeah.
Like, and then
you
I,
want some? So,
yeah, and then I was thinking to myself, like, wouldn't you tell your friend not to eat that?
no,
Like, really?
no. I don't know. If
I
it was
just
Jenny, I probably
I was
would.
expecting her to go, oh, it kind of
Well,
tastes fishy.
That would have been funny, actually. But I mean, if you consider the situation where she's trying to hide this, none of them know that she's doing it. No
Right.
one does. So of course she's not going to say anything. You know. So
True.
if I was her in that situation, I would maybe tell Jenny, like my best friend for like 15
someone
plus
drank
fucking
it?
years before she would drink it. That's I fucked myself with that.
Right.
You know. But anybody else, if I'm trying to hide that shit, I probably wouldn't have said it. Like
Yeah.
I probably would have just sat there and been like, oh my god.
She had like this whole bowl of vegetables and bread.
Yeah, I loved it. And she comes in. You're
She-
supposed to share those.
She had like a French
French loaf. Yeah.
French loaf,
I'm
like
girl, you did not fuck yourself with that bread.
that should be soggy. I think
It
another
was just over the top, and that just proves that I kind of felt that it was silly for them to delve into that because I'm like, you guys don't. Oh,
some of the
it doesn't
kills.
happen.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's just silly. Like,
Some of the kills in this movie were pretty cool, actually. And I mean, some of them weren't like amazing or anything, but they did the job, and I think they did a good job with them.
Yeah.
One of my favorite scenes of the whole thing that just kind of went on for a long while that I actually really enjoyed, and I thought that the girl Olivia, her death was
that
really
was
good.
one of my favorites.
Because she gets killed with a electronic meat carver, and he stabs it in her stomach, and it's just like he's like
it was cool.
It's kind of sexual, but not
It
like
was super sexual.
was that what it was? Yeah, like so she's just getting stabbed and she's bleeding out of the mouth and stuff. And it was kind of brutal because what they did it on was like, you know, a dummy sort of thing, and they stabbed it in the gut. It looked real.
No, it looked really good.
Yeah,
My
I thought it was
biggest
good.
issue though was where the fuck was that plugged in? Because there was no outlet anywhere near that.
That's well,
And that drove me fucking crazy.
Movie magic.
Because he came out of the shower
well, maybe it's
behind her.
maybe it's a charged one.
No, it had a cord.
Yeah, I know.
And that was you know what? And that was a continuity issue for me. And it sounds so silly that
It
we
is
get
for such a
nitpicky-
silly movie.
That we get nitpicky as fuck about something like that, but I got nitpicky as fuck about it. So that was
Yeah.
the first fucking thing I said is I'm like, this motherfucker just came out of the shower. There is no extension cord because you'd see it.
I didn't even think
She
about
would have
that.
seen it going into the shower. It's not power. Like
Yeah.
it's not battery operated because it has a cord because you saw it when she opened it.
Right.
And I'm like, that shit's not gonna reach. Where the fuck did you plug it in?
Right.
So that was my biggest issue. So it took away from that scene for me a little bit, which it shouldn't. But in what we do, that's something that we look at.
Yeah, but I don't think
Something
I
you
don't
pick
think
up
it,
on. You
I don't
try
think,
not to, but you do.
it's like,
But it was still cool. It's
but
still one of my
just
favorite
to point
deaths.
this out, like even in Star Wars, like the new one that just came out, I'm not going to spoil anything for you guys,
like,
but
please don't, I haven't
there
seen
is
it.
a scene in the movie where one of my friends was pointing out like the scientific logistics of it, and I'm like, really, dude?
It's a movie.
Really? Just let it go.
I-
So
and
I don't
I
want to
get-
get into that territory.
I get that.
Yeah.
And I get that. It's just, for me, and especially with this movie, it doesn't matter as much because this obviously it's aware of itself and that it's ridiculous.
Right. That's why I don't care.
So that's
you
why
know?
I don't look into it too
It's
much.
like Thanksgiving Day. Like he didn't even swallow a turkey. It's just
but Thanksgiving is just full of fucking
it's
bullshit.
like a fucking.
But,
It's
yeah.
literally a PNG file that he swallows.
That's just where my brain goes.
Yeah, I understand.
With all of that considered, that's still one of my favorite deaths in the entire movie.
Right.
Because it was fucking legit. It looked really fucking cool. They did a really good job. So I don't want to take away from that. That's
Right.
just something that I instantly, my brain went, wait a minute.
Okay.
No.
What about?
Like,
Do you have any other scene that you want to bring up? I've got one more that I have, and then that's it.
Yeah, you go. Is
Really?
it the end?
Sort of. Well, and this is like big spoiler alert, guys. Like, if you don't want to go this deep, this will really pretty much tell you the twist of the entire thing. So, spoiler on. It already was on, but anyway, so that you find out that it's the carolers, which you said you knew. I didn't really know, but when it didn't really matter. The part that I thought an opportunity was really missed, and I think could have been done better, is when one of the carolers gets asked, "Why are you doing this?" by the main chick, and I was like, "Oh, cool, this is going to be funny." Mm-hmm. And like there was parts that were funny, but they weren't different enough from one another, and they weren't edited together properly, in my opinion, to make that scene work and pop as I wanted it to.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh, cool, he could be, like, yelling at his mom or, like, like, eating pudding or whatever the fuck, but it was just, like, it was almost like it was just so disjointed that that whole scene that could have been really funny didn't land.
I hated it.
It wasn't, I don't want to say I hated it.
I hated it.
It just, I felt like it was a missed opportunity.
I hated that fucking twist. Mainly because I saw it from a fucking mile away.
I don't know how you saw that. I don't know
how I did either,
we
but
don't
I
need
knew
to
it.
get into there, but
I fucking knew it.
All
And
right.
like, instantly, our first fucking interaction with those goddamn carolers, and it was literally when like they splash water on them or whatever when they drive by, and I'm all, they're part of it.
Oh, okay, that
And
makes
Mouse
sense.
was like, what? Like,
That's what I say.
they're
yeah.
throwaway fucking like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, nope. They're gonna be part of it. You watch. Especially that one in the fucking hat.
Okay.
It went straight to the fucking strangers.
Yeah.
It was so heavily fucking borrowed from that to me.
I don't know.
But I mean, it's hard to do like a home invasion slashery type thing without kind of feeling that way, especially
Right.
with 3 characters.
Well, and I'm sure they borrowed from something else too.
Absolutely. Which, yeah, and they did in a way. They made
They
it,
didn't tell why they were doing it.
No, but because you were home. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, which is one of the greatest answers ever. for
Right.
that. But I don't know. I agree with you on it was a big missed opportunity because it was.
Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
And then he goes, "You really want to know? You really want to know?" And then they go into that whole montage
It was-
of him taking several hours to explain it.
It was dumb.
Which they show the time or the clock on the stove.
It was kind of funny, but at the same time, again, it was delves back into the forced humor aspect of it. Like I was like,
Yeah.
they could have done something clever with that, and they
Well,
tried.
I've seen other movies where they do stuff like that
It
moment.
was just choppy.
Or that kind of running gag, or that, not a running gag, but that gag where he's like, oh, it's taken forever.
Yeah.
And I liked that. I think that it could have been a better moment. I don't know.
I just didn't like that twist, plain and simple. I didn't
Right.
like it because I saw it coming, and then they didn't do a good job of tying the characters in.
Well, and then
each
he
other.
he doesn't even really explain it. He's just like talking to a baby doll 1 second.
It's
And-
weird. Well, why is there this like younger girl, then there's this dude, and then there's a fucking old lady? None
Right.
of this makes sense.
And that's not really even the end,
Why do you know
guys,
each other?
So we're not like entirely spoiling it for you.
no,
We'll
not
leave
at
you
all.
the very
it
end.
keeps going.
Yeah, it keeps going. But overall, I don't know. I still enjoyed this movie though. Like,
It was fun.
I thought it was fun. I thought it was, for what they did, it made me want to go out and make a movie.
Yeah.
Just like Thanksgiving did.
My biggest takeaway from it was I did not fucking enjoy it at all because when I was talking to you about it was within like the first like, I don't know, 30 minutes or so of the movie, and I was like, this is fucking terrible, Alex.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Really? You know?
Well, I haven't seen any of these.
And then I kept going. Well, yeah. Well, and that's why I was just kind of forewarning you, I guess. I'm like, don't expect anything great because it's not great. But then I started to kind of let go a little bit and just let myself enjoy it.
Yeah.
And it was funny and in some parts kind of interesting. Whatever. It fell flat more than it didn't.
It had parts I liked.
In a way.
That's valuable to me.
But the biggest takeaway I have from it was after I finished the movie and I started looking into it a little more and I realized that shit had a $6,000 fucking budget. Then I went back and started to really appreciate what they fucking did with that $6,000. Right. They did a fucking great job. They went out there and they were like, I can make a fucking movie. I'm going to make a fucking movie. And they did it. They made a fucking movie.
Yeah, it may not have been edited perfectly.
No,
it may not have been done perfectly here and there in this. But for what they did, the camera angles was better than most like put together homemade shit.
Right.
It's not homemade, but you know what I mean. Like
right.
It actually had a budget and shit.
No, it did. They did really well for what they had and what they had to work with. So
right.
I was thoroughly impressed. At the end of the day, when I realized that, I started to kind of not look at it as harshly,
right,
as I was before. And I'm like, all right.
It's definitely a pizza and beer movie, guys.
Absolutely, it's
you don't need to necessarily
to
focus on.
No.
It's just kind of like go for the ride,
get high, get drunk,
yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Eat some fucking pizza, hang out with your friends, and watch it because it's that kind of movie. It's fun,
right.
It's interesting enough. I mean, it's not a crazy fucking like trauma film, but it's still pretty fucking good.
Yeah,
I liked it.
Well, we do have another movie that we were given a screener for, and I was actually really anxious to watch this one.
I was too.
Why don't you go ahead?
So this one was called Once Upon a Time at Christmas, which I hate the title for this movie.
Yeah, it's really long.
I fucking hate it. It's so long.
I hate it because I'm going to have to fucking put it in the fucking title of our episode, and it's going to be like 8 miles long.
Fucking long. Like,
Yeah.
Unnecessarily long. It's annoying. Like, they could have come up with a million different names. Anyway, we digress. Came out this year. It actually came out about a week ago officially now.
No, it just came out on the 11th.
Well, but by the time they're going to listen to this, it's been out for about a week.
Yeah. So the December 11th, I believe it came out.
Let's give you an idea of what the story is about, guys. In the 12 days leading up to Christmas, the residents of the snowy and isolated town of Woodbridge are being murdered in a variety of gruesome ways at the hands of none other than Mr. and Mrs. Claus.
Ho, ho, ho.
While the small town cops scramble to protect the townsfolk, the killings seem to center around one young woman who may be the final victim on Santa's list. As the slaughter continues and the bodies pile up, it seems like nothing and no one may be able to stop the murderers before they complete their deadly take on the 12 days of Christmas. Wow. Holy shit.
Mind blown.
So, obviously, we've got a pair of fucking Mr. and Mrs. Claus that are out on a murderous rampage, right? Which, if you watch the trailer for this movie, I had a fucking lady boner.
Right. No,
long.
yeah, the trailer sold me.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Right. So, this movie was directed by Paul Tanter, who has done movies such as Shame the Devil, Kill Ratio, and Jack Falls. And it was written by Christopher Jolly, which I think is so fucking hilariously perfect.
Right.
Who did Age of the Living Dead and Borstal. And also Simon Phillips, who also stars in this movie, who has also written Riot, He Who Dares, and Killing the Cure, which I believe Killing the Cure is a TV series.
Okay.
So again, it stars Simon Phillips, who also wrote this film, who plays the crazy, deranged, burnt-faced motherfucking Psycho Santa.
No, with one eye.
With one eye,
yeah,
which is awesome.
British
His character's
fella.
my fucking favorite, because he is dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's super fucking British. Nick Conway, I think, is his actual, like, name, right? The character's actual name, Nick Conway.
I think you might be right, yeah.
So he stars in such movies called Jack Falls. Hint, hint. He's worked with this fucking director before.
Right.
Strippers versus Werewolves, which I've never seen, but I need to.
Yeah.
And he was also in Alien Uprising.
Okay.
And it also stars Sela Degode. It's Degoede. I'm probably saying her name wrong, but I think it's Degode.
Yeah.
Who plays Mrs. Claus, who hasn't been in as many things as I thought she would have been, because she has one of those faces.
Right.
Like she's very familiar, or she does porn, one of the two. But she's been in...
I wouldn't recognize her face.
No.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, I know. I was like, let me see your boobs. She's been in 11 Blocks, a TV series called The Spell Tutor.
Okay.
And Naked Fury, which was a short. So she hasn't done a lot of things. She's only done about a very small handful, 5 or 6 different projects.
Okay.
She has a couple in like post-production, which, by the way, Once Upon a Time at Christmas 2
What?
is
Already?
being worked on already. It's in pre-production phases. Side note.
Really?
Yeah, look it up.
No, it's fine. I believe you.
Because he's credited, the director.
Oh, is he going to
and
be
shit.
directing it
He's-
again?
Oh yeah, he's
Okay.
fucking credited for it as like part dose, and I'm
That's
like,
crazy.
what?
I can't even believe that. Okay.
Weird, right? Also stars Jeff Ellenberger, who plays Sam, who is the young hot cop detective.
Okay.
He has only done TV
Episodes
like TV
here and
series
there.
episodes here and there.
He's a working actor.
He hasn't done a whole lot yet. His resume is pretty short, but
Okay.
he's done like American Lawman and No Easy Days are like his 2 most noteworthy things besides like this movie that he's done. It also stars Barry Kennedy, who plays Sheriff Mitchell, who does a very good job of playing the very weary and tired fucking sheriff who just doesn't give a fuck anymore. He is also mostly just a TV actor. He's done a couple shorts here and there, but this is one of the only feature films he's done. But he was in an episode of Battlestar Galactica. He was in an episode of Blade, the TV series, and this other show called J-Pod.
Okay.
Last but not least, I'm going to mention is Laurel Brady, who plays Jennifer, mainly because she's a main pivotal character in this movie, even though she has literally only done 2 other projects besides this, and they are both short movies.
She's the girl.
But she's the girl. Yeah, she's the young daughter or whatever. She's been in Our Conversations About Love and Billable Hours are the 2 shorts that she's worked on besides this movie. I believe this is her first feature.
Do you know how much this was made for? Or
$1 million estimated budget.
Really?
Which I was surprised by.
I am too. It's probably just like the town, like they had to rent the town.
To rent it or something? I don't know, but I felt like to me felt like it was more money than $1 million. I don't know. It's kind of hard to gauge that. But
well, I have some interesting thoughts on this one.
Yeah, I actually am super intrigued to hear your opinion because
it sounds like you're kind of bubbling about this one.
I'm not bubbling about it.
Okay.
I was initially.
Now,
but
first
it fell
of all,
short in a lot of fucking ways for me.
I have to preface this because maybe my expectations
mine were too high.
Set me back a little bit because the trailer really kind of put me in a direction. Now, keep in mind, guys, we're not going to spoil anything for you first. We'll get to the spoiler section. I actually have notes on what I thought without spoilers and what I thought with spoilers and why. So, it's like, first of all, when I saw the trailer, I was like, oh shit, mayhem in the streets. This is going to fucking rock. I cannot wait. And then when I watched the movie, it started to become evident to me that this was more of a typical trope movie that they wanted to try to it's not that they didn't want to have fun with it. They were trying to have fun with it, but I think it at some point lost its way.
I agree.
Because, I mean, the idea of seeing 2 maniacs dressed as Mr. and Mrs. Claus running around the streets is insanely appealing.
It's fucking awesome.
One of them looks like fucking Harley Quinn.
Which I hated.
Which I thought was a little bit of a cheap stab, but in the same regard, like the 2 of them together in particular, I wanted to know more about. I feel like we barely got to know them at all.
Agreed.
Until the end. And then when you do, it felt a little too ridiculous and typical for me to even swallow. I almost feel like as if maybe like they, shooting a film from the perspective of them
would have been
might have been probably the perfect angle to shoot from instead of following this sort of typical mystery, solve the murder type thing, and instead make the bad guys just run around causing mayhem and maybe even like have a side story of this love thing, between them.
Right.
Like Joker and Harley Quinn would. You know what I mean? Like I would want to see that angle, and I think that is a huge missed opportunity. Now, they found kind of like an interesting enough concept, but that typical trope that I'm talking about that I can't mention till the spoilers, I wasn't too fond of. I don't want to ruin it. So,
but I know
it's not bad in that sense. That trope or the thing that they grabbed onto as to why this was all happening. There's like they're trying to follow a typical like trope for Christmas, which I didn't mind that so much. It's the trope at the end that really pissed me off. I'm not saying this is a bad movie because, it is actually really well shot. There are far worse holiday horror films. That's for sure. Some of the acting could have been better, but there is some really nice shots, lighting throughout the whole fucking thing, including one single continuous shot that I fucking loved. I thought was one of the best shots of the film. I just felt like a lot of the acting really didn't carry the film. The strongest characters were Mr. and Mrs. Claus, but you
barely see them.
It's like they kill and they walk away. And it's like, what the fuck? So I don't know. I just feel like there was a lot of acting that didn't carry the film, and the camaraderie of the characters outside Mr. and Mrs. Claus were kind of bland to me. I'm not sure if that was just because of the acting or the writing that took it for a turn, though. Perhaps maybe it was just something that it was trying to take itself a little too seriously when it should have just been a Mayhem movie, in my opinion. And I think they missed a huge opportunity with that. I'm not saying it's a bad film. I'm not trying to pick on anybody. You know, I've never made a film, but from a viewer's standpoint, to me, I really felt like it needed to have that mayhem. We needed two crazies cause mayhem in the streets on Christmas and get away with it, and nobody can stop them.
That's all you need.
Yeah, that's really what it would have made it original, and then have this really messed up love story.
Right. Why'd you need to have a stupid fucking backstory?
Right.
To explain why they're doing it.
Do it like Jack Frost, where it's just like this crazy
stupid
shit. But although Jack Frost did kind of follow that stereotypical cop story.
But why people go fucking nuts?
Yeah.
Just because they're fucking nuts, especially when they try and like incorporate this fact that they went to a fucking loony bin and blah blah blah.
Right.
So just let them be crazy.
Right.
Why do you have to come and build this completely fucking stupid story?
I kind of went overboard.
Incorporating a daughter and a dad and a stepdad and the mom and this whole fucking stupid.
I don't want to totally just slam it. I'm not saying
I don't want to shit on it.
It's
Trust
still
me.
a good movie. It's just like there was like some death scenes that had like really insanely poor CGI in them, blood spurting effects
The blood
that were
looked
fake.
so bad.
Yeah, and some of the editing for the movie in general felt like it didn't cut out parts that probably should have. Like, no spoilers here, but one of the dead people has a close-up and
She blinks.
And she blinked, yeah.
Oh, it drove me fucking crazy.
I was like, really?
Because I was like, okay,
How did
so
you
is she going to
miss
be alive?
that?
She's going to be alive then.
Right.
Like, she's going to be alive. So
And
he's going to go up to her and she's going to be breathing, so then that's fine.
And she's
like,
a
that
survivor.
Makes sense. No, she's fucking dead. And I'm like, you couldn't have fucking edited that?
Right.
What is wrong with you? Like, and I mean, it's going to sound like I'm shitting all over this fucking movie, and I'm not. Because
Yeah.
trust me, I actually liked it.
Yeah, I did too.
There's a lot about it that I loved.
I think
more
it's our
than I hated.
expectations.
Exactly.
It upsets us because we like the concept, we like certain aspects of it. It just didn't take us where we wanted to go. Like,
That trailer is so good.
yeah, it really is.
It is so fucking good. Like, when you were like, I got access to this fucking movie, like, we need to watch this. And I was like, I have a huge fucking weird boner right now. I'm so excited to watch this. This is amazing.
Did you notice also in this that some of the murder implements that they used, you could see it bounce off their body when it was supposed to stick in them?
It was bad.
It was like they didn't cut it right.
Right. The editing was just really fucking shoddy.
I don't know why.
And, like, I don't know what happened.
It looks so good for that to happen. It just...
And for $1 million budget, guys, like, you have somebody obviously going in and editing and working on stuff, because there are some amazing fucking scenes in this.
Yeah.
There is some beautiful fucking camera work.
Maybe it was just, like, rushed.
And these aerial shots and, like, some of the shit that they do is just fucking phenomenal.
You know what it could have been?
But then you get this scene where you see this bitch fucking blink her eyes and she's
Yeah.
supposed to be dead. Why was that not fixed?
And
Like,
it's
it
not even
drove
a
me
silly...
crazy.
It's not even... The tone of the movie isn't like something like Secret Santa where it
it's
can get
serious.
away with shit like
No,
that.
it's serious.
It's a serious film, and they take it so seriously that shouldn't happen in it because it removes you from the movie.
It did. Took me completely out of it.
Right. It's one of the things...
And that's the difference between something like Secret Santa and their crazy continuity issues versus something like this when they have an issue like that. Because in Secret Santa, you don't take it so seriously and so literally. You're just kind of like, haha, that's funny. And then you're like, but this would never happen or whatever, you
Right.
know? But then you come to this and you're like, you're taken for this ride of like, holy fuck, this could happen because people are absolutely batshit fucking bonkers.
Right.
And they do crazy shit like
I wrote-
this.
I
And then you
seriously-
see it and you're like, God damn it. And then
Right.
it separates you. It takes you out of that mentality that you've been building up this whole time, and it kind of ruins it in a way. And that's going to sound kind of fucked up to a lot of people that something like that kills a movie for you, but
Right.
it does.
Well, and I overall, like, I mean, I can't say that I hated the movie, and I probably went over a little bit overboard. But the fact that I
sound like we really hated it.
no, and I don't want people to think that. Like, overall, like, even if the filmmakers are listening, I hope that you don't take this like poorly. I like have the utmost respect for creativity.
I can't do what you did.
I can't. Yeah, exactly. Like, I didn't hate the film. It made me laugh sometimes inadvertently. It made me roll my eyes occasionally. It even made me appreciate aspects of it that I really liked a whole lot, even though it perhaps didn't meet my expectations or hopes, and it felt like it had been done before, you know? But only they put a Santa suit on it and made it a holiday horror movie. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
It felt like it had been done before.
I honestly still really liked it, and a lot of it is just because of visually.
Right.
How the camera work and the editing was done, as far as like how the lighting
it's great.
Works out. It's beautiful. Like it's really fucking gorgeous. The aerial shots are insanely cool.
Some of the acting was a little
shitty,
but it looked pretty.
It did look pretty.
It looked like
literally
really well shot.
The best actor is Mr. Claus.
And even Mrs.
I fucking hated her.
Oh, really? I thought she was okay.
And that's because she was too fucking close to Harley Quinn for me, that it felt like a dead-on fucking, like, I'm Harley Quinn but in a Santa suit, and I fucking hated it.
Right.
It drove me fucking
Well, it's because
crazy.
of the pigtails, first of
all.
all.
It was because of the pigtails. And I wish they would have made it, like, she looks like this hypersexualized, like, Harley Quinn porn star that puts on a fucking Mrs. Claus suit, and I didn't, it fell so flat.
I didn't mind it.
For me, like, and I wanted to like her, because
That's
in
a
the
real
opening
minor gripe
scene,
for me, yeah. Yeah,
you know, like, I'm like, she's fucking intense, and I really like it. Like, she was cool, and I love her whole, like, interaction with that cop is very interesting, and how they open that movie with that initial interaction, like, how long do you think before daddy's gonna come for me, or whatever, and I'm just like, ooh,
right,
gross, you know, like, but I was into it, and she was good.
Why don't you let me out?
Yeah,
and let's have the best time of the year.
Best time of the year. It was stupid, like, little things like that, but it was still cool. And, like, she was solid, rock fucking solid in that scene. But then when you get to see her more later, she plays this Harley Quinn psycho too well, as far as, like, she plays it too close to Harley Quinn's character.
Right.
And not her own version of this, like, crazy Mrs. Claus kind of thing. And there was no good tie-in to why they would be Mr. and Mrs. Claus either, which also bothered me.
Yeah.
Because why would they become those two characters?
We'll get into some more of that later.
So I don't know. But
did you actually? I mean,
overall though, I did really like this movie.
Okay.
Which it sounds, everything we've said in the beginning sounds like I don't, but overall I actually really did like it, and I preferred this movie over Secret Santa.
My personal opinions on the spoiler-free stuff is, I think it's a good movie. It just didn't push me over the edge to great.
Right.
It's a decent movie. It's like a down the middle of the road, like nothing too special, shot well, looks well, everything else, you know, could have gotten away with it. I think it took itself a little too seriously. It should have been more mayhem.
A little bit more silly.
Yeah, it just should have been just aware of itself a little bit more, and taking a little bit more time. I kind of feel like the movie was a little rushed almost, maybe.
It was too fast.
Like maybe in post-production they just like pushed it. No, not even just the tone of the movie. It just felt like,
even though it was like an hour and 45 minutes
the
long.
The fact that a dead girl's blinking is really weird to me.
It just kills it.
I know.
I can't think of anything but that. It fucking
I can't
ruins
unsee it.
I can't unsee it. I can't fucking unsee it. But honestly, like, it was just missed opportunity after missed opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like, and the biggest thing for me is if they would have done this with the perspective of looking at it through Mr. and Mrs. Claus's eyes,
right,
it would have been worlds of fucking difference.
Yeah, well,
it would have been insanely different.
Hey,
and it
maybe
been
if
so
they're making
cool.
part 2, that they take it that way.
Yeah, and why put a fucking storyline like that behind it? Why?
No, yeah, and we'll get into that in the spoiler section here next, guys. So if you want to listen past this, like, I would highly recommend you, first of all, support the horror community. Go out, rent it, whatever you can, to see the movie.
It's still worth
I actually
watching.
ended up renting it anyway.
It's still worth fucking watching. So
I actually
check
rented it because I was like, you know what?
On Amazon?
Yeah.
Yeah, so fucking rent it. What does it cost? Like $4?
I think it was like $5 or something like that.
It's worth it.
I just, support your community, support stuff you want to see, even if, maybe you like it better than we do. Maybe it'll be the best movie you ever seen. I have heard some people say that it's really good, while others that said it didn't. Like, it's got a lower score on certain things, but
Crazy.
But after this moment, guys, we're going to get into the spoilers section, and this is where we're going to get really into why, what parts really upset us, or maybe we liked, or whatever. So you're probably going to want to tune out if you haven't seen it. If you don't care about that, you just kind of want to go for the ride, and you don't plan on seeing it, maybe, check us out, check this part out. If you come back, I don't mind. It's no problem. Just letting you know ahead of time that the spoilers are going to happen right now. So, do you want to kick it off?
No, go for it. You're ready.
Okay, so you know how I mentioned the trope I couldn't talk about till the spoilers? Mm-hmm. It wasn't the 12 Nights of Christmas, okay? Which is the Advent calendar where you open up the doors in each day, or it's the song, on the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me. Right. That's fine. I'm okay with that. It's a little typical, but, I'm sure we probably would have used that in one of our fucking great plots.
I love how they tied everything around.
Yeah, we make up movies all the time on our episode, and I'm sure we could have grabbed for that, and that's actually a pretty cool thing.
Easily.
That didn't bother me. What bothers me is that the movie, while it looks and everything it does well, the typical thing that I hated is that he's your father trope.
Yeah, that's what
and
I said.
You're my daughter. Like, Santa is your daughter, I'm your father, and I'm Santa now, and you are my daughter, so you are crazy too. And it's that, so you'll just one tick away. All you need is that motivation to push you to be crazy, to kill everyone.
Right.
And I was like, come on, dude. Like, that's where I tuned out.
And I bet you that's where they're going to go with part 2.
That she's part of it now, and it's like a family masquerade. Oh, man.
I bet you that's where they're going.
I don't know.
I hope not, but I bet you that's where they're going to go.
It's too typical for my taste, but even that wasn't as bad to me as the "you can be crazy like me" bullshit.
Yeah, it was
like
so
I
fucking
just
annoying.
I can't get behind that. You just need the right motivation, like what? No.
Yeah.
No. Nobody's going to just start killing because you had a conversation with them.
And first of all, if I was her and this motherfucker gives me this gun and it's like, oh, just fucking, I would have shot him.
You know what it almost feels like? What if, like...
would have fucking shot him.
What if the person who wrote this or came up with the idea had written some sort of fan fiction for Batman, and they put Joker and Harley Quinn in the position, and they were like, how do we figure this out, that they had a daughter, and that he was a crazy person, and Joker had a daughter, and she was like, like this, and then they were like, well, fuck it, I'll just use this, I'll just add a Santa hat.
Right.
And 12 Days of Christmas, or...
You know what
I mean?
None of it jives.
It didn't.
Again, it's another situation where I'm stuck where I knew exactly what was going to happen within the first 20 fucking minutes of the movie.
Right.
Like, well, I can sniff this out from a mile away and figure out that this is where it's going to go.
But in the same regards, like, if we just wanted Mayhem, we would know where it was going anyway, too.
Yeah,
so that's not even the problem.
That's not the problem.
Yeah.
Right.
It's what it was is, I can forgive, like, shoddy acting, but I have a really hard time taking on the concept of that daughter thing. Like,
stupid.
It's overdone, I think, and I think they missed a really great opportunity to push this genre into a Mayhem movie.
It's tired.
Instead of, why did they do that? The whole 12 Days of Christmas wasn't a bad idea, but maybe a little obvious.
Yeah, well, and I really like the concept and the idea behind the 12 Days of Christmas and how they incorporated it differently.
Yeah.
I loved the fucking swan concept. In particular.
Oh yeah, no, those are
12,
really
or what
sure.
Was it?
That's kind of like the 7 thing.
7 swans are swimming or whatever. Excellent.
Yeah. Well,
fucking excellent.
They try to set it up like 7.
Yeah, but it's
like
the girl's
trails.
name. Is her last name's Swan. And then they make 7 little fucking origami swans
and she's
set them
one
by
of
the
them.
Pool where they abducted her.
Well, there's 6, I think, wasn't there? And
6,
then she's
the last one.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking genius.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
That was great. And all these little implements, but like also how dumb are these fucking cops? That it takes them that fucking long into the movie to catch on.
I can forgive that because it's a small town.
Right, and that's what they played to, though.
Yeah, well, it's a small town.
But even when the FBI comes in, I'm like, come on, the FBI would figure this shit out in a hot second.
Dude, I gotta mention some funny stuff on that shit. When the feds came in, they were like, there was some funny stuff that happened. There was a scene I thought was really funny. But anyway, I think that's pretty much it for the spoilers on our thoughts and stuff. Did you have any trivia on this? Did you find anything?
No.
Because I feel like the name Once Upon a Time at Christmas, I think of Once Upon a Time in Mexico, which is the El Mariachi sequel.
Yeah.
Where the girl and the guy go out and kill together, right?
Right.
So I'm wondering if they tied it into that.
I don't know. I honestly have no idea. And I did look pretty deeply to try and find something on it, or even just like interview
Really?
something like to look into it. But I wasn't able to find anything. I don't know. Hopefully did you come up with anything?
No,
at all?
I didn't go into that one because I was like, I'm just gonna do the Secret Santa one.
I wasn't able to find anything that noteworthy like at all. But
Well, it is brand new, so it's going to be
fucking
hard
new.
to kind of find
Exactly.
it. We'll find
So
out more as we go. But
this is going to be kind of more strictly based on like our opinions
Really,
on it
yeah.
versus anything else, because it just fucking came out, so it's understandable. They haven't done a lot of, if they've done interviews, it hasn't been released yet, or I couldn't fucking find it. So I don't know, but I don't know. Like I still liked it.
yeah, I know.
I still
I
really
again,
liked it.
it's not a bad movie. It just
Yeah, it's average. It's like right down the middle, straight down
yeah,
the
and
line.
and the only reason it's average is because of those few things that I just didn't like, and that's on my own personal level.
Right.
Like I just didn't personally like that because I was looking for something that they weren't making.
Right.
But what the trailer led me to feel like it was going to be.
Exactly. That was my biggest issue with it too. Is it led me into thinking that this was just going to be a pure like two crazy people that are going out on a fucking killing spree.
Or building up to that moment where they do go on a killing spree.
Right. And that's what I got from it. And I'm like, this is fucking great. This hasn't been done. This is different. This is fresh.
Yeah.
It's new. It's cool. The characters look interesting.
They were
Like,
great. I liked them both.
I'm-
Even if you didn't like the girl, I still think they were the most interesting people and some of the better actors
No,
in
they
the
are.
movie.
They absolutely are.
Besides the sheriff, who was decent too.
They're the two most interesting characters to
Dude,
me.
the way he
are
was
Mr.
like
and Mrs. Claus.
swallowing his pride during some moments, while the fucking mayor, who God, I've got some fucking,
hate
I got
him.
some issues with that guy too. And not to be rude or mean or anything, but yeah, there was some parts that I was just like,
So
what?
Easy.
Not even that. Not even that. Just like it just didn't feel right.
No.
like he felt like he was older than he was.
It was weird.
Yeah, it felt a little weird. Do you have some scenes that we could talk about that maybe that you liked and or want to point out?
Yeah, I fucking love the opening scene when you're first introduced to fucking Mr. and Mrs. Claus.
Oh,
when
yeah,
it's
okay.
the detectives and they come on the scene and they see this fucking head in a snowbank inside of a fucking bag, like a holiday bag.
Oh yeah.
Excellent. First of all, I love the entire fucking view of blood on snow.
Oh yeah. It's
Gorgeous.
perfect, yeah.
I mean, my favorite fucking scene in 30 Days of Night is the aerial view. Like
Oh,
when
yeah,
the
yeah.
vampires are fucking killing everybody and all you see is the blood spurt everywhere. But it's gorgeous. You can't fuck that up. Like, you just can't. It looks fucking cool, right? So, but that initial, like, interaction with those characters, and then they go and they kind of do this, like, as they're investigating or looking into it, they kind of do this, like, backtracking where you see them playing out the scene
Right.
as it goes on or as they're trying to discuss. And it was cool. It was well shot. It was interesting. It was
Right.
visually fucking stunning.
right.
And I'm like, holy shit, that really set the tone and set the pace for the movie, I thought. So I was
There's a lot of really good
excited.
things in this movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I was excited. And then it like continuously like kind of just went kind of down the middle, and then it was like high, and then it was really fucking low.
Yeah.
And then it was back to the middle, and then it was really low again. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, this
Yeah,
movie's
one of the that's
fucking
one of the
ridiculous.
first things I notice is that when Mrs. and Mr. Claus, Mr. and Mrs. Claus, whatever, kill, like their scenes are really short
They're too short.
and they just walk away.
Yeah, that's it.
And it's like, wait, what? No.
They're so cool.
like come back.
Exactly. I'm like, I was fiending for the scenes with them. And that was
Right.
the hardest thing for me because I literally,
And they try to turn it into a crime drama.
right.
Yeah.
They turned it into like a Christmas version of Seven.
Right.
In like a weird kind of, but 12 Days of Christmas instead of the 7 Deadly Sins. But that's
with a painting of a Santa hat on it.
right.
Yeah.
But to me, like the closest comparison I can draw is Seven because
Right.
it's the same concept of 7 Deadly Sins. This is 12 Days of Christmas.
Right.
And it's two fucking detectives trying to solve this fucking crazy crime and all the
Right.
shenanigans that they get into in the meantime with these crazy characters that are causing all these deaths. And so it's like a holiday Seven
Sure.
in a way. It doesn't get as creatively vindictive and interesting as Seven does.
Yeah.
Because
Depth.
Seven is incredible, one of my favorite movies of all time. But they do a good job of trying to follow that
Definitely not as dark
idea?
as what I was getting at.
right.
It's way more just
Oh,
crime.
not nowhere near as dark.
That's why I didn't want people to be
No,
misled
this
by.
is not as dark and vindictive or sadistic
right.
as Seven was. They try to a little bit in a way, where there's no one's safe. They try with this like no one's safe mentality
Right.
kind of thing. So it's not as well thought out of a process, but it's still interesting.
One of the scenes that me and Christina looked at each other and were like, "Are you serious?" Like we had this moment. There was a scene where the chief, he's like talking to the mayor, He's been trying to, first of all, they're trying to close the mall, okay? Because these Santa killers, whatever, are killing around the mall, I guess. They don't really make that clear.
He killed the mall Santa.
Right. Well, he kills the mall Santa, so he tries to close down the mall. The mayor's like, absolutely not. It's Christmas. We need to fucking have commerce. Like, people need to buy, like, the economy, blah, 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 blah. And so the chief's like, well, and this other death, a couple of the other deaths happen, and he's like, we need to close the mall, mayor. And the mayor's like, no, we can't let these killings mess up my fucking image. And the chief's like, aren't you going to the strip club tonight? He's like, yeah, I am. I'm also putting back into the local economy, and there are a lot of voters there. And I'm like, but it took itself seriously. It wasn't even a joke.
No,
and I was like, oh my God, like, what is happening right now?
That's a funny kind of tongue-in-cheek moment.
Should have been.
A joke should have been,
right.
But it was taken too serious,
Stiff.
and you're just like, oh no, like it felt weird and uncomfortable and skeezy, like it didn't feel like it was supposed to be funny,
right?
You know, and that was a big hit, big miss for me too. Like I was just like, why is that necessary?
Right?
Why?
Do you have another scene that you enjoyed, maybe, or
yes? I actually have a lot that I really enjoyed.
Okay,
but every fucking kill scene for the most part I thought was kind of interesting.
Pretty cool, yeah.
But I really liked with the girls in the bathroom.
Oh, yeah, okay.
With her friend, like the redheaded slut friend or whatever.
Right.
Like, that was cool. Like, and she hears the chick fucking crying under the stall, which is Mrs. Claus or whatever. So she goes, first of all, why would you go to peek your head up underneath the stall? I would never fucking do that. But so she goes and peeks her head under the stall and she gets shot with a fucking crossbow.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Right in the face.
Terrible fucking effects. Like the effects were
and
just
the angle wouldn't even have hit her like that.
No.
Like, what did she do? Like, it just didn't make sense.
It was weird. It was not quite legit and a little silly, but it was still cool.
Right.
You know,
no.
And she flops back weird too. Like her direction.
Yeah,
when she comes out, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, but whatever. Anyway, so she comes out and then they kill her 4 friends, but they leave her alone. But that scene is really interesting. And any scene with the actor that plays Santa, Simon Phillips, he's legit.
Right.
Like he is fucking legit. Like he is the best character in the entire movie to me. He's the best actor in the entire movie. He plays that character very, very well.
Which one is it? The
Santa, Simon Phillips.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Who wrote it too. One of the writers on it. But he was fucking cool as fuck. Like every scene with him in it, I'm like, oh, I need more.
That's what I'm saying. Like I wanted, see, that's what I'm saying, man. Like I wanted to see those characters. Everybody else was fodder, and the whole crime drama needed to be gone.
Right. It
just needed to be silly, kind of like dark humor, and like run with it.
Absolutely.
That's what I feel like. Like those characters are strong,
right?
And they should have shined more than anybody else. I think that they. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
Absolutely.
Every time I saw them up until the point where they talk to the daughter and tell her that she should be crazy too,
was gold.
Yeah, it didn't make sense. He's not the Joker.
Right.
Okay, he's not able to convince them. It's not about like handing fucking Two-Face a coin and saying introduce a little chaos.
Right.
You know, it's not. It wasn't strong enough. I understand what they were going for, and it just missed. But there was a really cool part like that made me laugh. So. Okay. First of all, like they don't tell you that it's the 12 Nights of Christmas, right?
Right.
So it's pretty quickly you figure it out, but the cops don't. But
forever.
But you do. But literally, one of the federal agents that they call in says, "Oh, they're missing one. They're missing a kill. There's 1, 2, and 4. Where's the
third?"
He's like, "What are you saying? There's a third one?" And I'm like, "Well, that's the 12 Nights of Christmas right there, like within the first scene, like one of the first scenes." You know what I mean? So it's like. But there's a shot where all the like feds are in the cops, the police station. They're working with the cops. One of the guys from the feds at the police station goes to get a coffee, and he's like joking. And there's all this camaraderie with everybody in the room. By the way, perfectly executed fucking scene, by the way.
Oh, awesome.
I thought that was great. I thought that was one of the best scenes in the entire movie. Doing those single shots like that are always hard, especially when you got that many people on set in that scene. Like, that's not easy to do. Somebody's going to fuck something up. So he walks out of the room and he comes back with his coffee and everyone's dead. Everyone that he had all this camaraderie with. I thought that was beautiful. I love that. I love that shot. I thought it was really cool. And then the funny part that really fucking made me crack up after this happened. So everyone's dead. They got the autopsy guy, the like cadaver guy, the guy that like does the CSI bullshit. He's like looking through all the stuff, and the chief says, "We're gonna need more feds down here." And it was almost like, "Hey, we need more meat for the grinder."
Basically, yeah, that's what it felt like.
So I thought that was
like,
really...
you just killed all your feds, fool.
Yeah, it was inadvertently funny, but it was like, I don't know, it kind of felt out of place. Like,
yeah, it was silly.
Yeah, it's like, I need more gas for my car. How do we burn through these people? Like, like obviously the feds went, but yeah,
how do we keep them from killing me?
Right. That was. I thought that I really love that single shot. It's not easy to pull off.
That seems great.
Yeah.
It was done well, though.
Yeah, like the actors all did really well in that spot. I thought it was, that was like one of my favorite things about the whole fucking movie.
Mm-hmm. And visually also, too, with the lighting and everything, was just stunning.
Yeah.
It was absolutely stunning.
Yeah, they did really good lighting in that movie, too.
Yeah, they did.
There's like a part where he's like, the chief is like talking to one of the officers, the main deputy or whatever the fuck he is.
Yeah.
He's like, they walk down the hallway and then the lights on him in the doorway and everything else is dark on either side. That was so perfect. Like, the director of photography did a really good job.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, I like that it was left open.
Yeah, I agree.
The ending.
I'm trying to think if... Yeah, the end, I did like the end.
But I just hope...
A lot.
And I'm not saying that we know everything or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I really hope they leave the daughter out of it.
Fucking please.
Just leave it out of it.
Please.
Just show crazy people killing people and going wild and make it somewhat silly and not so serious.
Yeah.
Dark humor, funny, and just having fun together. Two killers killing together for fun, I think would make a hit movie. And if you did the second one like that, I think it would just be perfect.
Just kill her off or something.
Because we want to see that.
Her.
I really want to see these characters go wild.
Let them be fucking crazy.
Do one-liners, do fucking crazy kills. Make it silly. Not like over-the-top silly. You can just do it in a cool, silly way.
Yeah. Dark humor. Go for it. There's so much potential for this, and that's why I felt so disappointed, because it didn't hit where I thought it was going to. So I don't know.
What are your final thoughts on this?
I still honestly really, really enjoyed this movie for the most part, and a lot of it was because I just really liked Santa Claus killer character. He carries the movie completely for me, but a lot of the kills were really cool. It was just shot beautifully. Again, we've already discussed how great the lighting was, but it was a cool ride to watch from start to finish as far as just visually being taken on a ride for this movie. The story, while it could have obviously been a lot better, it was still decent. They did a lot of cool tie-ins there and explanations and how they did end up doing the 12 Days of Christmas concept was interesting. So overall, I did actually like it. It may not sound like it, but I actually did.
Yeah, and and as far as my opinion on this, like I like the movie. I just like the concept so much more that I had so much higher expectations for it. I feel like this movie, as I mentioned before, is really like someone who had written Batman fan fiction, who also liked crime drama, and slapped a Santa hat on it, which is fine. You create things that you like, you know what I mean? Like, you get inspiration from certain things, and I'm not trying to attack. I feel like I've torn this movie a new one.
I know.
And I'm not trying to be that. It's that I want it to be good. Like, I love those characters, and I want those characters to shine. And in my opinion, my hope is that part 2, they just unleash the fury.
Yeah, we just wanted more.
Yeah, I really want these guys to go out town to town like Phantasm and just cause mayhem, and fucking every Christmas they show up at every fucking town and they fucking cause mayhem, man. Like, have fun with it. Don't take it seriously. Take some one-liners in there. Have some fun killing people. I want to hear that British guy talk because he's got a great voice.
Like
Simon is amazing in it. The chick is she's fun. Like, I feel like there needs to be a little bit more camaraderie with the two of them. But,
yeah.
But
he's
yeah,
like a Santa, like if Jason Statham put on a Santa suit.
I'm telling you, man,
he reminds me of.
I could be wrong about this, but I swear to God, this is fan fiction for fucking Batman.
It feels like it.
Joker and Harley Quinn and the two of them, like, with this weird crime drama thing. But I think it's an average film, unfortunately. I have high hopes for the sequel. I hope. I will watch it. I will watch it. That says something to you guys. But I don't know. I definitely probably will watch this again at some point. I don't think I'm like super excited for it because of the daughter-father thing. And it's my fault. You know, I shouldn't expect things. But the trailer kind of like pushed me in that direction. It got me really excited. So I don't know. But guys, if you've seen this movie or you haven't, what do you guys think about it? Are you interested in seeing it? I hope that we didn't like completely abolish any kind of feelings about it. We're just very passionate about it because we like the concept.
Well, it's still my pick. So
Of the two?
yeah,
Really?
it is.
Okay,
Hands
well,
down.
I'm going to disagree with you on that.
That's fine.
My-
I figured you were going to.
So out of Secret Santa and Once Upon a Time, thing about Secret Santa is it was self-aware.
Right.
Okay? Who am I? You know, I'm just some guy talking on the fucking mic. But Secret Santa is tongue-in-cheek, and it's silly, and it's ridiculous, but you expect that from that movie. Whereas Once Upon a Time at Christmas is insanely well shot, has a way bigger budget, should have been more self-aware of what it was than it ended up being, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. So for that reason, I give it to Secret Santa.
I look at it as what movie I would watch again, and I wouldn't watch Secret Santa again unless I had to.
I would.
Even though it's only like an hour long, for the most part, I was bored out of my fucking mind. And just annoyed because it was literally...
It's longer than an hour, isn't it?
It's a little over an hour.
Yeah, I thought it was like 118.
Yeah, but it's still. I'm only a little over an hour. Like, it's pretty short for a movie, like a full-length feature. But, like, gun to my head, I had to watch another one of these movies again. I would rather watch Once Upon a Time at Christmas.
Okay.
For a lot of reasons.
Well...
It was more entertaining to me. Mm-hmm. Visually, it was far more stunning to me. The kills were cooler. They were more interesting. And it had better acting.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
In it too. And even though the story took a fucking stupid twist, it still had, to me, it had a better story.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's where I'm coming from on it. So
it's really hard to compare them.
They are really hard to compare. But as far as I'm just looking at it, like I said, of what I would rather watch another time again, and it would be this one. And I am actually looking forward to the part 2 that they're going to be doing. So hopefully if that still happens.
I know.
But it did say it was in like pre-production phases or whatever. And I'm like, bring it on.
Well,
don't let the fucking daughter be involved because I will turn it off.
I liked both the movies. I just give...
Right.
And these are so close in nature as far as like score wise. I still give it to Secret Santa, but I still think I'm still looking forward to seeing the second one of Once Upon a Time at Christmas 2. And for the love of God, I fucking hope that they go wild with it.
Just let fucking loose.
Yeah.
Have fun with this shit. I don't know.
I think she should just like go on with her life, and then they go off and take town by town like Phantasm.
I think that'd be cool.
I think it would be fun.
Yeah, I kind of wish that's like where it started in the beginning, but you know, whatever. That's not what happened, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I can't fucking make a movie, so good on you. Thanks for making a movie.
Yeah, and
I
hope,
didn't hate it.
And I hope if you guys who are making these movies understand that we're just giving an objective opinion. We absolutely adore horror movies from a general perspective. But I want to know what you guys who are listening think. I mean, what do you think of these movies? Do you think we hit some of the points that maybe you agree with? Do you not agree with it? I don't mind. Mm-hmm. You know, my opinion may not be what you think of certain things, and what your expectations are may be different than one of us. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Which one do you like more? Did you like or dislike any of these movies? Will you watch or not watch any of these movies? Let us know in any of the comment sections of anything that we post anywhere. Please let us know because we love hearing from you guys. With that said, if you haven't already, please do go to longlivethevoid.com to check out any of our stuff that we do. We do horror shots. We do make up grave plot segments. We have tons of stuff on there. We've got a lot of really great writers that are writing for us right now, and I'm not one of them.
I'm not either.
But you should check it out because I've never done a video game review if you can. But other than that, I hope you guys have an amazing holiday season. We will not be here next week, but we will be returning on the 4th, I think, the 4th of January. And during this time, if you haven't already and you've missed some of our older episodes, this is a perfect time for you to check them out and see what you think. So I will be game streaming probably during this week while the holiday is going on. So if you guys want to check that out, you can. I'll put a link below. So
have a good holiday. Stay safe. Don't get fucking stupid.
Yeah, be safe,
stupid.
guys.
I don't know.
Yeah.
just have a really good time with your families or with yourself. Merry Christmas or whatever you got to do.
Whatever you celebrate.
Whatever you celebrate. Hanukkah, Kwanzaa.
Whatever.
Something.
Yeah, we hope that you guys have a safe one and stay happy out there,
Krampus.
guys. Thank you so much for this year. We appreciate you guys. I also want to thank Secret Santa and, of course, Once Upon a Time at Christmas for providing us with screener copies. You guys rock. Thank you so much for taking the time for that and thinking of us. And we'll be back with a brand new year with all of our top 5 favorite things about this past year. So you're going to want to stick around. It's going to be a lot of work on our parts to figure this shit out because it's not easy.
It's gonna be ridiculous.
So thanks again, guys. We'll see you the following week.
Happy holidays, monsters, and Happy New Year.
You have been listening to Beyond the Void Horror Podcast. Tune in every Monday for a brand new episode.